picks and bans begin. With SKT on the blue side, Jin Air on the red side. What will be the first ban?
So, question is, can Chaser play Jungle Echo? Something we've seen from Bengi. It is a pick that is worldwide rising as a priority pickup, and there's the Victor. So, not too surprising. GBM and the rest of Jin Air will just first pick Victor on blue side. They have no qualms about doing that. GBM has been able to turn around games.
Yep, and meanwhile, Callista is banned out by Jin Air along with Nidalee from SKT. No surprise there.
Yeah, no surprise there. And there's an Azir against EasyHoon. Will we see the Cassiopeia or the Rise to sort of round out this pick and ban phase? Rek'Sai against Chaser, so basically they have to ban Gragas now if they don't want a high priority early game jungler available.
Yeah, I don't know if EasyHoon will end up playing that Cassiopeia, especially after those nerfs that came through. Cassiopeia's just kind of fallen out of favor in terms of the mid lane meta picks.
Unless you're GBM.
Unless you're GBM.
And you play Rylai's Heal-O-Matic Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did lose that game to CJ. They didn't have enough damage to actually
convert that win, yes. And Evelynn is the first pick for SKT, so they're going to put Bengi on that early game champion. And Jin Air looks towards Rumble, a Trace favorite.
No surprise. And again, Jin Air doesn't want to take Maokai because Marin will play Fizz into that, and he has crushed those laning phases and absolutely taken over games. So don't give him that opportunity, I think. And you also get to take away the Rumble from Marin. Of course, that does make Marin able to play Maokai. Marin is something like 22-1 all-time on Maokai.
Very, very high win rates for SK Telecom in general across the board due to their just their dominance this season. And it will be Sivir along with Rumble for Jin Air in first rotation.
Yep. Well, it's worth noting that SKT, since this team came together, since the disbanding of SNK and the single team system, so far their win rate across all competitions, domestic and internationally, is 77%.
Wow.
And again, coming into this, SKT is on an 18 best-of-3 winning streak. They're on a 13-game win streak.
Yeah.
And if they win 2-0 here and then win their next game, they will have 16 consecutive wins, which is more than when they won the entire Tournament of Champions Winter without dropping a game.
Well, SK Telecom, very, very strong right now. And EasyHoon goes for a very early lock-in of Twisted Fate.
That's kind of disrespectful to GBM, thinking that he doesn't have something to play into that.
Yeah, and GBM, I mean, GBM has a lot of options that he can draw from against that Twisted Fate, but I wonder what he'll go with. Thinking about it, Lee Sin a possible jungle pick here.
Now for EasyHoon, TF has long been one of his better champions. He's 8-5 on it all time. It's his fourth most played champion. So it's certainly something. Oh, jeez.
Well, I think Xerath has a very good laning phase against Twisted Fate and can keep him pushed in. You look so disappointed right now. You look so disappointed.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Barry.
Yeah.
And I do think that GBM is a wonderful Xerath player. I just think Xerath doesn't do enough to actually win games. Jin Air hasn't actually won a Xerath game in a long time.
Yes.
Even though GBM continues to end games with amazing KDAs on Xerath, they can't do enough damage to actually win a game.
Well, with Rumble in this game, I don't think they'll exactly be lacking in damage, and depending on what SKT goes for, I would say maybe the Alistar might be a better pick here, just in case, just so that they can outlast maybe the poke.
Yeah, exactly. Alistar, Maokai, perfect picks against this Xerath because there's backline threat with both of those champions too, and you're less vulnerable to poke. I'd take the Alistar over the Annie.
And looks like it will be the Alistar and Maokai last picks for SK Telecom. And what is the last pick for Jin Air? Zyra is the hover.
Well, that's just because Che has been a long-time Zyra player. But it's not actually going to be Zyra. I would be surprised to see that. Now, Annie's available, and Annie is frequently banned against Che.
Yeah.
But
and Annie
there's not really a good choice to hard engage here. The problem with SKT's composition is that They have so many flank. You need to take the Janna.
Yeah,
absolutely.
good pick.
Yeah, good. That's probably the best possible pick. But Xerath, sure, he's got the cleanse. He'll be able to cleanse out of the gold cards and maybe stun Easy Hoon right afterwards. But you're dealing with Maokai flank, Evelyn flank. How exactly do you think, Jinair, that you are going to be able to keep this Xerath in the fight for very long?
Well, they have the Sivir ultimate, they have the Lee Sin Dragon Rage kick. I don't know. They have some displacement to create some space, along with the Equalizer to create a kind of like a slow zone. But yeah, as you said, very risky pick right now.
It's a really narrow timing window. If Jinair, with this early game composition, doesn't get a big lead early, SKT is just going to be able to outlast this game, get Azonias onto the TF, and become so incredibly tanky that there's simply not going to be enough damage to hold them.
Yep.
So I'm not a big fan of Jinair's draft right now, especially since they tried the early game tactic against SKT the last time they played, and it just fell very, very flat.
Well, I like the Lee Sin pickup though. It will apply pressure, and so, but GBM, can they get a kill in the mid lane versus a Twisted Fate though with that Lee Sin?
At the least, they can keep him up in his mid lane turret and pushed in. Well, let's see if Jinair can pull it out with this Xerath. We're into game one.
Well, welcome to Summoner's Rift, and we have Easy Hoon and Bengi with matching skins. Couple skins, if you will.
The Tango. The Tango skins. Well, you know, here's a fun fact about GBM Xerath. So he was really great with it when Xerath was a more meta pick in the spring, but it's his third most played champion of all time. He's 5-5 with it, yet he has a 6.7 KDA. So he always does well. But his team, and remember, a lot of those wins came when Xerath was actually still meta. And since then, his win rate has definitely not been as impressive as 50%.
Yep. It is unfortunate, but I see it being, I can see the reasons why they picked it, but it's just going to be a tall order for him to stay alive in these fights, but well, we will see. The cleanse will help him survive for the interim, at least from the CC, with the extra boost of tenacity you get after using cleanse.
But here's the thing. It only works as long as Easy Hoon doesn't have Zonias, because the play has to be, basically Easy Hoon can't go into the back line while he has cleanse up, because Xerath will instantly stun him and kill him, right? But as soon as he has Zonias, Xerath isn't moving, and there is going to be a Maokai and Evelyn all over him. So there's less threat at that time. That is a cute little stack right there. Good job by Marin, actually, to take away enemy Raptors based off of that invade. Haven't seen that play before.
Yep. And Jinair will start at SKT's red buff. Meanwhile, SKT will start at the blue buff.
And Trace is not going to be double jungling.
Interesting.
So if they end up in standard lanes, Marin actually hit level 2 off of the Gromp combined with the little Raptor Steel. Chaser and Jay.
Oh boy, they really want to get this Twisted Fate down and this Xerath ahead, but I don't think this will work. He's already pushed in.
Yeah, he's already pushed in. He's going to be playing safely because it's a lane swap and he doesn't know where Che is. Wow, they're really going hard on this one.
GBM needs to push this wave into the turret if he wants to make anything happen, but nope, Che is going to recall.
And now is Trace going to get dove, is the question, because there are 4 people up there. Now, they probably think that Janna is coming to lane right now to help Trace.
Which is kind of true. Almost there.
Well, actually, there was a chance to dive right there from SKT. They probably could have killed Trace.
Well, big wave headed towards Jin Air Green Wings in the bottom side. Freeze was successful.
Chaser's not there. Bengi coming in. GBM is going to walk back. He sees that gold card. He knows what's up, and he makes it under the tower. Actually cleanses right there. I don't know if that was necessary.
Well, he didn't want to take the extra damage from the wild cards, but he's going to heal up. He's going to have to play a lot farther back now.
Yes, he will. And Chaser at his blue buff, so a bit of a failed gank early on. Now Wolf on the roam to the mid lane. Uh-oh.
Oh, he has no flash.
Boy.
Oh, no, he has flash.
He has flash,
no
but
cleanse.
There's still a flash pull of headbutt play that can be made here. Okay, goodbye.
Oh, he takes the. Oh, will he live? And he will.
Yes, there is a summoner heal on Easy Hoon, so just popping it to be safe, and GBM falls victim to the camp with that gold card. And that's the thing is, you can say that Xerath will poke out this TF, but the all-in from TF is super strong against Xerath.
Well, with the way SKT is playing, they should just rename themselves to TSM, Team Several Mid.
Team Several Mid.
And we can just hear TSM chants all day, every day here in Korea.
Yeah, you really know what I like, Barry.
I know. TSM, TSM. Well,
the Several Mid working out this game, and now the GBM's behind. I think SKT might have a pretty easy time in this game because Jin Air was already walking a tightrope with their composition in terms of timings against SKT, and that is really not going to help them.
And with GBM's flash down now, they can easily make a return play on that Xerath right there. We'll see how much Chaser gravitates towards the mid lane in order to kind of keep him safe. So already, Jin Air Greenwing starting on the wrong side of this game.
Indeed, and really, where could they go right now? Trace having trouble in the top side, and not a lot of kill threat with this Sivir in bottom.
Yep. And Che here just to shore up this lane and make sure Trace can pick up farm. So instead of the Xerath, what would you have liked to see, Monte Cristo?
Literally anything.
Literally anything. Oh, are you sure about that statement? Would you want to have seen an AD Ziggs mid? Would that be preferable?
I don't know. It's just that we know GBM has a large champion pool. I don't know if he can play Fizz. Of course, there's that classic lane counter to the Twisted Fate. And we do know that Easy Hoon doesn't play particularly well against Fizz.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are just so many options here.
Well, it was a very bold and early pick for Easy Hoon. And so I wonder if this was just a game plan all along, regardless of what mid laner that Jin Air Greenwings decided to field. They would just camp mid, get the TF, pushing in, get him ahead, and create the map advantage that way. So this seems almost like a premeditated plan from SK Telecom.
Well, GBM always has the Cassiopeia or something like that too, Now, GBM has been playing a lot of mids without a whole lot of mobility or movement abilities at the very least. So if we look at GBM's recent picks, Varus springs to mind, Cassiopeia. So these are champions that actually probably would be on par in terms of vulnerability with Xerath, except okay,
Destiny Gate and not quite enough.
Not quite enough. So Easy Hoon without the flash can't quite make the play. So the first TF ult, not too terribly effective. But Jin Air can't respond to that. They don't have enough people now down on the bottom side of the map. They should have been able to take a dragon with that play.
Yep, but everyone was back home buying items.
So it was actually a very good timing for Twisted Fate. Without the Sivir down on the bottom side, there was no chance of a dragon or an objective being taken cross-map. So kind of worth it, actually, because they got the flash, they got the teleport out as a result of that play, and they didn't have to give up anything. So it doesn't really matter if it got a kill if they can follow it up later on.
Well, GBM still farming just fine in that mid lane, and Chaser needs to make a play if he want to make this Lee Sin pick worth it. But there just seems to be nothing that he can do with GBM constantly pushing in, Trace in a 2v1 situation. So what can Chaser do with this Lee Sin pick? It's a big question mark here.
It is a mighty and massive question mark. Chaser is a great jungler, but there's just not a lot of kill pressure on his lanes is the issue, besides TF. And
ooh, he has a level advantage here.
Yeah, he's level 6, misses his Q. He's still on the hunt for Bengi. There is Easy Hoon, just gonna blue card himself a Scuttle Crab, and Chaser grabs the red buff. So invade solo from Bengi, not really punished.
Marin places a sapling just to give himself vision. and possibly a safeguard against Chaser coming into that top lane. But yeah, GBM back to base, buys his 2 components from Merlinomicon, and blue buff will be handed off. So, as we said, late game favors SK Telecom. So what do you do if you're Junior Green Wings? Do you want to force a fight at the Dragon, or do you want to just kind of...
You have to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, Pilot is behind in CS against the Corki. It's not going to get better now that Corki's level 6 and approaching that Trinity Force. You need to be able to start stacking Dragons or something, because if you fall behind in Dragons and kills, and there's the Equalizer on the wave, they want to dive this, they have the kill threat. Uh-oh, there's the tower dive. Easy Hoon is here, though. Marin still tanking. Gold card comes in, wild cards, and there's a scrap shield, but it's not going to be enough. Bengi takes the aggro, but this time, Jin Air can respond with the Dragon.
Well, Bang is going to throw those rockets over the side just to harass. I don't think he'll make anything of it. Wolf is caught.
And will Wolf die here? Goes in for the headbutt. There's a TP, so Maokai is going to be here in just a moment, but that's not enough. And Jin Air is able to get away. The gate not able to be used because Easy Hoon looks like he wasn't in range to actually follow up on that.
Well, it's also Jin Air was stacked up as 4, so any play he tries to make probably will result in his death.
Yes, and frankly, if you're SKT, you can't try and make plays on both sides of the map at the same time. Even though Easy Hoon didn't use his ult to get up into top, he just walked up there.
Yeah.
That is not a true global anymore, and best case scenario, you're still going to be, what, in a 3v4 on that bottom side, considering that they knew exactly where Maokai and Evelyn were, and Marin was too chunked out to actually TP immediately into the fight. So SKT gets punished for their greed, and they actually trade out there in terms of kills.
So GBM still farming, down in CS now a little bit, and Trey's pushing up. I think he probably wants to recall soon. He's moving back. Well, we're going to see a bit of a lull and probably just a continuation of just farming with this Dragon now down.
And Pilot not fooled by Bang's attempt at a brush hide there. But Bang looks like he gets a little bit of the better end of that trade. Of course, does have the Alistar to heal him up. And, you know, the scary thing about the Alistar TF combo is you could just dive at any time. And that is almost certainly going to be kills in favor of SKT.
Well, Bengi.
Both sides. Oh, here we go. Trace gets locked up by Marin. Bengi tries to come through. Equalizer goes down. That's not going to be enough. And Trace scrap shields his way out barely.
Here comes
Missing
Lee Sin.
on the smash. Lee Sin coming on through right now. I'm not sure he can 2v1 this, though. There's the Q. Can he get in? He's going to try and keep on moving. There's the ward off kick in. Doesn't hit Bengi. Nice try, though. There it is. And no, he does not. Oh, and GBM manages to finish off the snipe after walking up the lane.
The Korean sniper.
That's right. GBM. Well, it's usually Coco on Jace.
Oh, true.
But yes, that was a great addition there by GBM, just picking up the trailing kill. And Bengi smartly sidestepping that ultimate from Lee Sin. Could have easily gotten knocked up right there. But does manage to escape the death. But the kill went on arguably the worst person in there.
Yeah. Well, GBM now 2-1-0 against Easyon 1-0-1. And looks like Easyon going for a quick Lichbane. I wonder what his focus is this game.
I think his focus is that no one's going to be able to stop his split push. Jin Air, if he has a Lichbane, there's not really a good person. Trace is just going to have a hard time getting in range of Easy Hoon with all those gold cards.
Well, buff's going to be taken. Chaser making moves into the blue side jungle of SK Telecom to get some wards in. Well, Jin Air made some good plays. We'll see if they can keep making those plays and build up a significant gold lead because they're currently down 1.2k gold.
Yeah, this is it's a really bad situation. They're being out-farmed in all 3 lanes. So they're losing all 3 lanes. They want Easy Hoon. Che is here with Chaser. There's a nice whirlwind. There's the follow-up and forces the flash.
Well, that makes things a little bit easier for GBM if he's able to get some good poke off onto EasyHoon. Then that means he won't be able to flash his ultimate hits. So EasyHoon gonna have to play a little more cautiously now, and GBM's flash is back up.
Indeed it is. So, where is Jin Air going to go next? This next Dragon up in 2 minutes will be very useful for them. There are a lot of summoners down on the part of SK Telecom. So they should have some freedom in terms of how they deal with that. They have pushed EasyHoon in. EasyHoon doesn't have mana really to contest at this blue buff right now. Bengi going to walk up, but it's going to be risky for them to go for this. They don't know that Bengi's there. They do now that the ward goes down, but that's not enough, and Jin Air takes away the blue.
And Trace even came down to help out with that, but exhaust on Pilot. There may be some tussling going on in the bottom lane.
Jay really saved that with a tornado. If he hadn't hit that tornado, Pilot was definitely going to get pulled, headbutted backwards, and die. So Wolf just barely out of range for the pull. Now the slow going down. Chaser's here, so is Bengi. Bengi just gets kicked away.
He's even taking a lot of damage, though. Oh, and more tussling in the bottom lane.
Pilot's still there. Pilot wants to be aggressive right now. Summoner heal goes down. Now there's the gate. Pilot running backwards, and he's going to get hit. Wild cards, but there's no follow-up. Wolf tanks a couple of turret hits. Could have used the Unbreakable Will, but doesn't. A little bit of miscoordination there by SK Telecom.
Let's see how much damage GBM can get on this turret. Bengi's coming in to shore up this mid lane. And yeah, decent amount of damage on it. Oh, he's got him.
Oh, does he have him? And yes, he does. GBM comes through, and that's what we've come to expect from his Xerath play. He is very accurate with those skill shots, and he's very tricky about how he uses them. Got the slow, chained it into the Q, and then he was able to get the finisher onto this very squishy Evelynn.
Yeah.
Of course, that Warrior Enchant first, GBM going to be pumping out quite a bit of damage early, and GBM gets his second blue buff. They're going to be able to take this dragon too, so Jin Air really starting to turn things around. They're still behind in gold, though. The farm.
They need to take turrets fast.
Yes, yes they do, and it's going to be hard because Bang is here on a Trinity Force power spike. He's going to at least get some poke damage down. There
Wolf
isn't.
has his ultimate.
Okay, we're going to see TBs coming in from both teams, but there's no TF ult right now. EasyHoon on the side. There's, oh man, EasyHoon completely caught out. He's going to go down first in this fight. Wolf also just falling apart on the side.
GBM gets 2 kills, a double kill for him so far, and Sivir picks one up as well. SKT on the retreat. They picked up the dragon, but they lost a lot of members for that.
Bengi didn't have Agony's Embrace. EasyHoon didn't have his ultimate. There really wasn't a reason for SKT to go into that fight. And the last person you want to feed right now is this Xerath, and he's already 5-1-1 in 16 minutes.
Yep, and a blasting wand in his inventory. He's probably going to go back and make a huge buy. I'm guessing a Rabadon's Death Cat, but let's look at this fight first.
Yeah, I mean, they think they may have an advantage, but EasyHoon just gets caught out immediately. Trace with a great flash to follow him up. Chaser gets that position and kills him. Keeps him on the equalizer during the kick for more damage. Really good ult from Chaser. And GBM just playing cleanup. And you know what, Barry? Xerath may not be ideal, but a 5-1-1 Xerath is still going to do a whole heap of damage.
And look at that, a Rabadon's Death Cat with the Morellonomicon at 17 minutes.
Yikes.
This is a terrifying Xerath. If he gets a Luden's Echo on top of that, that is going to be some insane poke coming out from him.
Yeah, and I love watching GBM's Xerath. I think he's one of the best Xerath players in the world, but that said, it just doesn't work. But this time, the kills have all gone his way. He's had that presence on the map. He's really making it work.
Yep. And Che making some roads into the enemy jungle, getting some deep wards in. And they're getting wards at every camp to make sure they can keep eyes on Bengi.
Yes.
And yeah, 0-3-2, not the best game for Bengi.
And Jin Air, in their last series against Najin, one of the major complaints was these guys aren't getting deep wards in. They're not playing the vision game very well. Well, guess what? It's entirely turned around this time. They're going to try and dive Trace again. Trace does not have Equalizer. He just used it to clean the wave, so he's going to die. I believe. See if he can get out. Actually, Scrap Shield. EasyHoon was tanking that, but Marin will finish off the kill.
Yep. Trace sacrificed for maybe a bottom tier 1. GBM making his way down.
Definitely a bottom tier 1. Easy, I'm going to try and go back. Actually, Che getting a little bit ahead of the minion wave. Does take about half his HP and damage. They want the red buff at the same time.
They do not. SKT shouldn't be fighting this. If one good stun from GBM can really spell the end for Bengi, but they just back off.
Yeah, they're going to trade a turret for a turret. So turret and red buff for Jin Air. Turret and kill for SKT. And all they have to do is get into the late game. We're dead even in terms of gold. I've seen GBM look great in the early game on Xerath. Can he close?
Yes. Can he convert?
Can he convert? And that is another one of Jin Air's problems. They had advantages against CJ. They misplayed them and lost the series. They had advantage against Najin. It took them forever to close those games. And they played the Dragons very poorly early.
And they had an advantage versus SKT.
Yes.
And then one mistake lost them that game. So it just seems to be the same old song and dance for Jin Air Green Wings whenever they lose.
Right. And this is such a good composition to deal with this Xerath. If Xerath goes down, because no one else has gold really, it's going to be very easy for SKT to clean up a team fight.
Well, then maybe instead of losing his Echo, Zhonya's Hourglass may be the right buy
very true.
for GBM. And possibly even Distortion Enchant, but he needs boots. He actually doesn't have any right now.
Xerath floats. Doesn't actually need to sully the ground.
Okay. But what if he just wanted protection for his feet from all the Shen swords left on the ground?
But he floats, so
but some of them could be sticking up.
That's
you never
true.
know.
By the hilt.
Yep. I have no idea how it would end up like that, but it's a possibility. Never say never.
All right, well, wild cards help to clear out that wave. They're going to take a few hits from the turret. They really want to get this down, though, while they have the opportunity. Jin Air knows the importance of being able to push this forward. And Trace doing just what he always does, playing very far back, not getting a lot of farm, but just being there to stuff turret dives. And there we go. Siverold comes through. Maokai in a bit of trouble. Nice kick. And there's the twisted advance. Bengi coming in right now, but we still see Chaser doing that damage. Maokai finally dies as they kite out with this Xerath and the Boomerang Blades. SKT still moving forward. Alistair and Corki on their way up to the top side, and there's no turret there, so can Wolf make the play? Gate is up. Gate is going to not come in. Stuffed. And there's the combo. Easyhood gets into the back line, shuts down GBM. And the players from SKT turn around the team fight. Trace can't get to the top side in time, and even if he did, there was no equalizer.
Unfortunate play for Jin Air Green Wings, and Wolf with a huge play, and SKT will go for the Baron.
I don't know about this. TP's still up, and Trace is there at full HP.
Okay, he scares him off, but Trace has to flash.
No equalizer.
Oh, God.
Poor Trace.
Bye-bye. Well, he stopped the Baron at least.
That was worth. It's true.
Yep. Man, you get on my case for saying more worth, and you say that was worth?
Yeah, because more worth is not actually an expression.
All right, whatever you say, Marcus.
Worth it. Let's put it that way.
There we go.
Worth it. Okay. Well, that will set Jin Air back quite a ways. They'll be able to protect their mid-tier 1, but not exactly going to their advantage. They know they have to get these turrets down, but SKT has that ability to get behind them. And when they're trying to push a lane that they don't have a tier 1 in, they are punished for their vulnerability. Here comes the counter teleport play. Marin is there. He's in the side. He's got a just twisted advance over, and Marin is dead.
He's already so tanky, though. So can he delay long enough so that SKT can take the mid tier 2 and tier 1? He's still alive.
Oh, boy. He's just giving them the runaround. Okay, he's dead, but at what price? The price of 2 turrets for none.
Boy. You know what GBM should have done? He should have just used his ultimate to clear the wave. That's what he should have done, I think.
Maybe if...
And threatening the Baron again.
Of course, that's what you do. But they're not going to get the Dragon. So Jin Air gets a kill. And they get a Dragon, but again, it's at the cost of 2 turrets. And you could see SK Telecom still...
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Bang. Really far forward. And equalizer drop, but not actually going to do much. GBM still doesn't want to use his ult quite yet. They're going to get the drag. But Che face checking a brush.
pings onto Baron once again, so SKT is just going to lurk around that area. I don't think they can do it at this point. Maybe when Corky finishes his Blade the Ruined King, but they're going to go for it.
Oh, man. Bold Baron plays from SKT. There's no TP. There's no wards.
Jin Air has no idea this is going on.
They should. They've been just playing around that Baron. I have no idea why they wouldn't go for this.
Well, it's taking SKT a while to do it, but SKT takes it. And now they know.
They were just getting blue buff. But even in that 4v5, SKT was trying to force them to go face check that brush at Baron because it was a threat that they could do it. Now, Marin had just spawned and was in the top lane just clearing out the wave, but they have enough tankiness with that Alistar. If he pops his ult, it's easy to tank out that Baron, even at sub 25 minutes.
So that 5-1-1 Xerath is now 5-2-3. Had given over 500 gold to EasyHoon, who now has a Lich Bane and an Abyssal Scepter, along with Home Guard, Boots of Lucidity as well. So, yeah. Good amount of gold going his way.
Yeah, and there's a good split push from SK Telecom. So now that they have the Baron, it's really easy for TF just to be splitting a lane.
So, what can Jin Air do? They've fallen behind with this composition that they've crafted, and it just looks like they might crumble if they don't play their cards right here. And big wave in the top side.
I have nothing to say about this. I mean, it's just the Xerath pick again. What GBM is so good on it, but it just can't win you a game in the end. And he can pick up those kills, he can outplay people as much as he wants, but when it comes to actually seeing a victory screen, it's been really rare since the beginning of spring this year.
Yep. Well, here's a question for you, Monte Cristo. If someone put a gun up to your head and said, you have to craft a meta composition around Xerath right now.
No. There is none.
There is none?
Doesn't work.
So you're just going to take the bullet to your brain?
That's right. That's what I would take. By the way, Ezreal was available in this game.
That's true.
Just going to put that out there.
That is true.
Just gonna go ahead and put that out there.
Oh, boy. Bang does a lot of damage to Trace.
And I'm sure GBM can play Runeglaive Ezreal.
Yeah. I wonder why he didn't. I guess he didn't want to get pushed in so early by
there is the vulnerability to TF, right? Because if you're pushed in by TF, you have to have something that has lane pressure against TF. Otherwise, he just gets free teleports everywhere. So,
yeah. So that's probably why they locked in. Now that I think about it, that's probably why SKT locked in that Twisted Fate so early.
Yep, that's probably a big part of it. I agree with you.
Well, EasyHoon enjoying the split push life. And meanwhile, the rest of SKT just keep constantly sieges Jin Air Green Wings.
And now they have such an overwhelming advantage that there's probably no way that Jin Air can win this game because it's just going to go late and they don't have enough damage to actually kill the tanky members of SKT.
Well, Baron buff just wore off for SK Telecom, so that will prompt them recalling and buying up some items. And a Zhonya's Hourglass completed for Twisted Fate.
Yep, that's exactly what he needs. Now GBM is kind of a sitting duck back there between all of the many options that SKT has to punish him. And Jin Air only managed to get 2 dragons in the meantime.
Yep.
So there's not really a threat for them to be stacking anything particularly dangerous anytime soon.
So Marin is 2,600 gold up on Trace.
Yeah, pretty normal for Marin.
Yep. And he will be crossing the Flame Horizon any time now.
Pretty much does that every game these days. To be completely honest. I mean, there's a reason why Marin is #2 in GPM in this entire league. He's above Bang. He's above every other mid laner and AD carry whose name is not Faker, who is #1. Okay? So his GPM has been incredible. He takes so many resources from this team.
And he does well with it. He converts it into wins, so well invested by SK Telecom.
Yeah, and I mean, we're in another game too where SKT has Corky and Maokai. And these are champions that SKT simply does not lose with. If these are meta champions and you give them to Bang and you give them to Marin, they're Bang is 23-1 all-time on Corki. I believe Marin is 22-1 on Maokai. And you have to remember, this stretches back to when they were on SKTS, a team that has a net win rate under 50%.
And still made it to the semifinals of Champions.
Well, one season, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, one season, sure they did. But the point is that these players have been very good at these champions for a while now, and giving them over is incredibly dangerous.
Yes, it is. So, Dragon, 25 seconds, Baron up in a minute 50. So what will SKT do? What will generic Green Wings do is the bigger question. Will they just roll over and die? Or will they just try to make some sort of risky play that puts them back into the game?
I mean, with the Dragon and the Baron timers offset, there's not even really a good way for them to contest either of these. They have no vision over the Dragon right now. They've got some pink wards, as we were looking at, in the topside jungle, but that's not going to help them in the immediate future. And by the time SKT gets this Dragon, they're just going to recall and be back to clear out the opposite side in time for the Baron pickup.
Well, 7K gold lead for SK Telecom, and this was a composition for generic Green Wings that needed a gold lead in the early and mid game, and it is now reaching late game territory.
I wonder when this Xerath is just going to die, Barry. I want it to work as badly as GBM does. I really do.
He's so good on it.
He is so good on it, but it's not going to work. Do you need more proof? Then you can't carry a game at 5-1-1 at 15 minutes.
Yeah. You know what he should do? If he wants to really play a poke champion, he should just play Ziggs.
Yeah, or Ruglev Ezreal.
Or Ruglev Ezreal. Well, the thing about playing Ziggs into the TF is that he can match that wave pressure. I don't know why he doesn't play it more.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see it this series. We were talking about that earlier, actually. It is a little bit of a mystery why we're not seeing more Ziggs these days. I think maybe
it's a very strong champion.
Yeah, a resurgence. It does give you so much control over the minion waves. And here comes the ward clearing crew, sweeping them out.
You know what would have been even better than, or just as good as Ziggs? An Orianna.
You know what else GBM plays is Ahri.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of options. GBM does not have a shallow champion pool, so.
Well, generic Green Wings.
Ahri obviously a little bit more questionable because you still can get hit by those gold cards during your Spirit Rush. So that, but even so.
Even so. At least has that kill pressure on the Twisted Fate.
Yeah, but you have to think about throwing your pick a card then, because otherwise you're gonna. Holy cow!
Yeah, that is a holy cow.
The pulverize. They're trying to disengage, but Trace is there, and he is going to just get rooted in place and absolutely destroyed. Good job, Wolf. That was a nice pulverize.
Holy cow, indeed.
I was sudden. I really didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, it was off the screen too. I think it was it was a flash WQ.
Yep.
Well played by Wolf. Man, where was this Wolf at MSI, man?
Well, he was busy playing his first professional game on Nautilus in Game 5 versus EDG. Not sure why that decision was made, by the way.
Well, all right. SK Telecom looking for the mid turret and the mid inhibitor. Marin just cutting the wave and just being a huge bully.
As Maokai's are wont to do. So 2 inhibitors now with 32 minutes for SK Telecom. Boom. There's an ult. Now, they're going to try. This is their best shot. Nope, they're not going to take it. They're not going to have SKT at lower health bars than they did right there. But there was no Equalizer or Dragon's Rage, so actually there was just no follow-up. Generic could not have done anything.
Well, Baron is now up. SK Telecom recalls in a little weird, in an odd fashion. They might have this taken away by generic Green Wings, but Marin's teleport is up along with Home Guard.
And Gate's going to be up in just about 5 seconds, so.
Here's Bang.
Generic still has no ults, really, to speak of.
Oh man, bombs over Summoner's Rift.
Here we go, and TP's coming in. Bengi and Marin on the side. TF is trying to get that flank too. Marin is here. Marin's going to catch them out. There is nothing Generic can do besides die. Oh, there's the Agony Embrace. He's even flashes onto GBM. Xerath dies. There falls Rumble and Sivir. Shut down. on to Easy Hoon by Trace, but it's just not going to be enough. It'll maybe slow them up a little bit now that they don't have that Lich Bane to tank the turrets, but the Super Minion Wave is there. Great engage from SKT to close this one out.
Yep, and well played by SK Telecom, and questionable draft from Jin Air Green Wings this game. We'll see if they can clean up next game, but first SK Telecom needs to take this Nexus, which they will. So good game, well played.
Well, SKT wins game one. You know, to me, it looks very similar to the last time they played Jin Air. Jin Air tries for a non-meta pick that works very well in the early game, but can't actually carry them to a victory. It's another loss for GBM Xerath, no doubt a fine player of that champion, but you need to be able to make it work. That's it. It has to be able to produce wins, and it just can't.
Well, tough loss for Jin Air Green Wings. We'll see if they can take it back to the drawing board and maybe come up with a different draft in response to what SKT is fielding right now. You know, the more I think about it, the more I like that early Twisted Fate pick.
Yeah, I think it actually did work right here. And of course, with a lot of the poke and global play, TF has been